Hi guys, it's me again, and I wanted to start off this video by saying a very Merry Christmas to everyone that's celebrating. This is a season of giving and receiving and being thankful, and I'm very thankful for this year. It's been a great year of reading, it's been a lot of discovery, and I'm very happy to share this joy with everyone around the world or anyone who's watching these videos, but also to the people that are closest to me. So, again, a very Merry Christmas to everyone. I do also want to start off this video by talking about this book that I grabbed from my haul last week. It's called Paradise in Tears, and it's by an author called Victor Ivan. And I wrongly assumed that this author was from a European background, and I was very mistaken because the author is actually very much Sri Lankan, and I did not know at the time, but after a bit of research, turns out he's probably not as objective as I thought he would be, because he had a bit of a part to play in some of the support that was given to a political group that did not have the best intentions for people in the country. So I want to apologize for any ideas or like misinformation that I might have provided, but I still want to read the book because it does provide a lot of insight, regardless of who the author is, even if he does support Marxism. And that brings me to my next part of the book, part of the video, which is going to be my review this week of this book. It's called Wuthering Heights, and it's by Emily Brontë. And the reason I got this book was because when I was reading Eclipse by Stephanie Meyer, yes, it is the third book of the Twilight Saga, Bella loved Wuthering Heights. This is her favorite book, and I wanted to know what was so interesting that she read it to the point where it was like worn out. And when I got it, I didn't know anything about it. And then I read the back of this, so this one right here, and this is what it said. Wuthering Heights is commonly thought of as a romantic, but try rereading it without being astonished by the extremes of physical and psychological violence. And that's not a lie, because this entire book is based on psychological and physical violence. There is some sort of violence in every single page. Because why? I don't know. The characters, unredeemable. Not a single character is redeemable. Not Heathcliff, not Catherine, not Kathy, not Nellie, definitely not Joseph. I mean, he overdoes it. Not Earnshaw, not just no one. No one has any redeemable qualities because they are all crazy. And I think to live in both of those houses, you need to have a bit of psychological twist in it, because I understand that there's a lot of love between Heathcliff and Catherine, but I think it's because they're so toxic that they're drawn to each other. One feeds off of negative energy, and the other one lives for the other person's negative energy. Like Catherine, the original Catherine, is so toxic in her behavior, the gaslighting, the narcissism, the self preservation that she has, that she put herself above everyone, but she still has some sort of love to give to Heathcliff. And these little bits of breadcrumbing that Catherine does is how Heathcliff he became obsessed. Obviously, he's obsessed with her throughout his life. He lives for her, he dies for her, and his one goal in life was to die next to her and be with her in the next life. And that is as toxic as it gets, because there is more to life than a kind of love like that. Because obviously Catherine has never directly told him, like when she was sane, she's never told him any of that. It's whatever he overheard. But because of this twisted relationship that these two have, so many other people suffered. And Edgar Linton, I feel like, I felt sorry for him, but he walked straight into it, because he saw how abusive Catherine was, and he was like, you know what? I don't mind. I can change her. That's a one-time thing. She's not going to be like that for the rest of her life. He was wrong. She was exactly like that for the rest of her life, which God forbid, was shot, and thank God for that. Because if she lived to see another day, my God, I don't even know what would happen. The unfortunate of it was how the children got caught into this kind of life, this toxic cycle because of Heathcliff and the fact that he wanted to ensure that whatever insecurities he had, whatever ill fortunes that he suffered as a child at the hands of what was his name? Earnshaw. Um, Whatever he suffered, he wanted to give twicefold to the daughters and the sons, and he wanted to make sure that people lived through him. People lived off of him, and he was a provider. He was the man of the house, and that is so yucky because you don't need to control people. People that have been born into these kinds of lives, they didn't do it on their own free will. They didn't walk into it, but still, this toxic cycle continues. And I don't know if it ended with Kathy and um, I want to pronounce his name saying Hareton. I don't know, but all I know is the book complete toxic. But there are some uh, I said last week as well why like they should allow kids to read books like this for literature. I take it back because kids should not be allowed to read this book. As an adult, it I had to take so many breaks from reading it because it was so toxic. But as a child, like this, if you're impressionable, you might think that this is what romance is supposed to be, that you're supposed to do to torture people physically and psychologically, to kidnap people, to manipulate people, to gaslight people to get what you want. And that is completely wrong. If it's not yours, you shouldn't covet it. If it's not something that, like, you shouldn't put people in those kinds of situations where they have to compromise themselves. Yeah. What I will say is how beautifully this book is written, though. The author, Emily Brontë, has some quotes in here, and I'm sure everyone knows these quotes, but they are absolutely beautiful because let me read a few to you. I think everyone knows these quotes. The first one being, but because he's more myself than I, whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. That was Kathy referring to Heathcliff when she's talking to Nellie. And then one of my other favorite ones is, my love for Heathcliff resembles the eternal rocks beneath, a source of visible delight but necessary. Nellie, I am Heathcliff. He's always, always in my mind, not as a pleasure, any more than I am always a pleasure to myself, but as my own being. And wow, that was that was probably one of my favorite quotes. There were a few quotes from Heathcliff about Catherine that I highlighted as well, but like none of that came close to how Catherine described her love for Heathcliff. Obviously, that was never meant to be, and I can only imagine the unhappiness that they would have caused each other because they only love each other because they don't have each other. But if they had each other, I feel like it would be very different. And this book, like I said, took me so long to finish. I started it December 10th. It's December 25th when I finished. Like I literally just finished it a couple of hours ago. And I need a mental break. I need a pick me up from that. And I thought, what better way to pick myself up than to read Twisted Love by Anna Huang? And I'm sure everyone who is on Bookstagram, BookTok, BookTube knows what this book is about. It's the Twisted series. It's let me just read like what the author is about in case you don't know. So Anna Huang is an author of primarily steamy new adult and contemporary romance. Yeah. So here we go. I'm more than excited to read something that's not going to put my mind into chaos, because that is exactly what Wuthering Heights did. Whew. It was a great read, though. If you can psychologically handle it, I recommend it because it is beautifully written. There's the picture, the way she's described the characters, the way she's described the imagery, the scenery, the what where like Wuthering Heights, the Grange. It's all beautiful, and yeah. So that's been my last week of reading, and I'm glad to move forward with my new book. And hopefully, I have another video before the end of the year. Until then, it's happy reading to everyone else. So, if you're at the end of this video, happy reading. And I would love to know if any you guys are reading any books these days and what those books are. But for me, it's gonna be this one. So, thanks, guys, for watching, and enjoy these holidays. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't see you again. Bye.